Well, well, well. Looks like the time has finally come. Um, After spending about like 80 hours playing the game, I guess I could finally give you my rating for Borderlands 4. You might say, damn, cuz 80 hours, that's a lot. But then again, I was playing a lot. I was doing a lot of streaming, and I was playing with multiple people, so it took me about, let's say, 40 hours to beat the game, like beat the story on one character. And the rest of it was just me leveling up. To give you a little bit of a backstory where I'm coming, this is not my first Borderlands game. My first Borderlands game was actually Borderlands 2, which is known to be goated, probably top 10 games of all time to some people. It might be, like, to me, that's my favorite game of all time. In terms of Borderlands games, this one's up there. So, for further ado, I usually don't make videos like this. I usually make very goofy, silly videos of me just playing around, doing stupid stuff. But I was like, you know what? Might be a little fun thing to do, kind of get my little rating. We're gonna categorize different things in terms of the good, the okay, and the ugly. The good being like the things I loved about the game, you know, things that I feel like they executed perfectly, that they kind of found that sweet spot. The okay is things that I liked, you know, things that I thought were good implementations. I felt like they could have improved on them a little bit more, like they probably needed a little bit more time in the oven. And then the ugly is just things that I was just not satisfied with at all. With the ugly, you're gonna find a lot of the same issues that a lot of other people had. But I also have one big issue. Not crazy big, but it's just something that I was unsatisfied with. That's a little bit towards the end of the game. I will give a spoiler warning when that moment comes up. Get things started off, we're gonna start off with the good. First thing is that I want to bring up is I feel like the game has an overall really good story. Like the overall characters, the world that we're brought into, Kairos, you know, it's like a whole new world. It really, you know, brings a breath of fresh air to the whole Borderlands world. Going through this game, you really feel like you're in a completely different place. I'd say the only place that feels like that original, like, Pandora area is the area I'm currently in this gameplay you're seeing, Carcadia Burn. This area right here, the map chunk right here. You know, I feel like this area is the closest you're gonna get to being in the, like, that classic Borderlands feel, you know? Part of that same little bullet point is I like that there wasn't too many returning faces. Like, we did get Zane, Amara, Moxie, spoiler alert, close your ears. But Lilith does end up coming back. We get Claptrap. We do not get everybody's least favorite character from Borderlands 3. The little girl that having an attitude the whole time in Borderlands 3. We don't get her back. That was another really good aspect of the game, because in Borderlands 3 I feel like we had way too many returning faces. They kind of like took the opportunity to let everybody know, okay, this is what happened to every single one of these characters that you've seen before. Like, this is where they're at now, which, I mean, it's cool to see, but like kind of like when Marvel shows off like a returning character, it kind of gave off that kind of vibe. Like, you're just kind of doing it for the first initial wow factor and not really doing it for anything story related. Like, you're kind of forcing the story to go in the direction that involves these characters. It didn't really feel natural, you know? That's one thing I liked, was we didn't have too many returning characters. We do get some new interesting characters. Aside from all like the overall good story, there was a lot of side quests, a lot of bosses, and another cool thing that they did was every time you complete a vault area, like, you have to go around collecting these fragments. You open up the vault, and then you complete the vault, you pretty much get an upgrade for your glider pack, and it was pretty cool. You know, it kind of gave you another reason to go out and do these objectives besides getting loot. There's multi-phase bosses. Kind of like, it gives you like that Dark Souls vibe. Like Dark Souls, whenever you kill a boss, it's like boom, once you complete the health bar one time, they'll come back to life, or they'll transform and they'll have a completely different moveset. I thought that was pretty cool. Bigger emphasis on grinding for legendaries, which they actually did, you know what I mean? It wasn't, I feel like the grind for the legendaries is pretty cool, and now you have things like this, you have like these weekly events where a certain boss gives you a higher drop rate for legendaries, which is the boss that I'm fighting right now. Right here you can see it, driller hole. But it's just pretty cool, you know, you get a chance to get a higher drop rate. You go to kill any other boss, the drop rates are okay. I feel like that's how they should be. Like if you have legendaries dropping left and right, kind of defeats the purpose of a legendary weapon. Like it's supposed to be a weapon that not everybody has, you know what I mean? Finally, the last good thing, I like how you could choose which path you can take whenever it comes to tackling certain areas. So let's say you wanted to the Ripper Queen's area first. You can do that if you want to. You can go to the Ripper Queen, go to Absolator Soul, and then go to Vile Lictor, or you could do it the opposite way. You could really choose what paths you want to take. Like if you're starting up a new character, which I know when the new character comes out, Cash, I'm probably gonna start from the beginning with that character just to get a feel for the character, you know, have a natural build process. And this transitions into one of the okay things about the game, is whenever you beat the game, you can create a new character, and it will be like you can make it a level 30 character with the campaign already beat. But one thing that I really didn't like is how as soon as you create that new character, you have literally no points of interest discovered on that character. So you would literally have to drive to all the fast travel points and unlock them again. Like I shouldn't have to go rediscover these fast travel points. Like they should already be discovered. So it just adds a little bit of annoyance to like that whole aspect of making a new character. Another thing that I thought was okay, like the whole one-shot builds. Let me show you this kickballer, right? You literally go to any boss and do this exact same thing. Look at that. Like that's insane. Like what? You could literally do this. You could throw a knife that makes any hit a critical hit, and you can literally annihilate this boss in like a matter of seconds. It's insane. So I feel like stuff like this, it's fun, like it's cool, but at the same time it's like in the long run I don't know, I feel like it would take the fun out of the game. Like if I'm just able to like one-shot everything. The end game content is another thing I thought was okay. Like once you beat the game, I mean all there really is stuff to do is side quests, you can grind the bosses, you can clear the vaults, you can do the weekly encore missions, you can unlock the next ultimate vault hunter ranks. But like how long is that gonna last for? I'm not too sure. Like I feel like a person like me who loves Borderlands, like I'm obviously gonna grind every character. I'm gonna get every character to the max level, do every single little thing, get all the trophies for the game, like 100% the game. But for a casual player, I don't know how like consecutively they might want to come back and play the game at the current state that it's at right now. Because the end game, there's a somewhat of an end game there, but it's not like there's not too much weight to it, you know. Another thing I thought that was okay, I wish there was a little bit more backstory on how the main characters even got here to Kairos. Like maybe like a cutscene or something like that. I know there's an audio log in the Sanctuary ship, which kind of like gives you an audio log to when they crashed into the planet. Yeah, I guess you could say there's a lot of plot holes. Like I kind of wish there was a little bit more of like connective tissue in between the third game and this new game. Just because there's like, I don't know, you're just kind of just dropped into this whole new world. And throughout the story, I was like, okay, like when are my questions going to be answered? And a lot of them never did. Hopefully, you know, we find out more story with the DLCs and whatnot. And now, finally, we're going to get into the ugly. The stuff that I was like baffled at. Like a AAA studio like this was, like, I don't know. Just things that I was really upset with. So firstly, obviously everybody knows the graphics when the game launched were horrible. Like the performance, the optimization, everybody was having graphical issues. People with high-end computers were having graphical issues. And obviously we all saw the whole Twitter threads by Randy Pitchford, which is the president of Gearbox or whatever he is. Just kind of ranting about how if you don't have a specific rig, that's not on them. You know, maybe the consumer should invest more into their computer to be able to play a AAA game like this. Like, which is kind of crazy. Like, it's kind of like kind of calling this broke when some of us have like $2,000 computers. Some people pay $500, $600 for like their consoles, like a PlayStation 5, $500, boom. And then you buy the game on top of that, that's like $570, $580 plus tax. It's like, dude, if you're gonna be releasing a game for these platforms, just at least make sure that they run properly, you know what I mean? Another ugly issue I hated is the game constantly crashing. I feel like the game would crash at like the worst times. Like either my friend's game would crash, my game would crash during a boss fight or something. The game would crash during a story part. It's just really annoying. Like almost every single new game that comes out has crashes, but it's like, dude, it gets to a point, you know what I mean? Another thing is the loading screens during co-op. I don't know if anybody else had this issue, but for me, like the loading screen, whenever you're like in the little blue warp tunnel, they don't count that as a loading screen, but it's a loading screen. But that little blue warp tunnel, dude, that thing feels like it takes forever sometimes. And it will start loading shaders, and it takes twice as long. So it's like, dude. Then I guess for my final thing that I really didn't like was, spoiler alert, if you're listening, look away. It's the end of the story pretty much. Like you beat the timekeeper, you go into the vault, RJ comes out, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, you kind of get some closure in that whole arc with RJ and how he was tortured. Right after, you talk to this freaking spirit or this entity from a different universe, a future reality, and it's telling you that in the future, like, some issues go on, and this person gives you like a cube, a device, and they say that this might be able to change the future, might be able to help you to change the events of the future. And then that's it. Like, you don't get any type of information on who the timekeeper was talking about, because the timekeeper kind of insinuates that he was forced to keep these people captive. He was forced to be this ruler. He kind of made it seem like he was a prisoner himself to a higher power. We don't really find out what he's talking about. Like, there's really nothing there. And then we have this appearance of a person which looks like Lilith. It literally looks like the Firehawk silhouette. But then Lilith is to your right, and she doesn't even know what's going on. She doesn't even know who you're talking to. So it's all very confusing. It's all very convoluted. Like, it's like one of those things where you gotta go watch a YouTube video to find out what's going on. So overall, I give the game like an 8.5 out of 10. It would have been a 10, honestly. It really would have been a 10 if it wasn't for obviously the graphical issues, the performance issues, that weird ending once you enter the vault, which I don't know if other people understand what's going on there, but I wasn't really able to get anything from it. Just the little issues, like the whole map having to be rediscovered on a new level 30 character, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, besides that, I didn't really have any other issues with the game. I thought the game was solid overall. If I was to rank it, I would say it's like right there beneath Borderlands 2, just because Borderlands 2 is such a good game story wise, but Borderlands 2 also has its issues. So yeah, I would put it like right below. Like, there's probably like a slice of cheese between Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2. I guess the only thing that would make me reevaluate that is just obviously playing the game for more time, like seeing the replay value of everything, and then the DLCs. So when I think about Borderlands 2 and I rank that game, I think about the DLCs as well. So gonna have to wait. Just gonna have to wait till the DLCs come out and then take it from there. So hope you enjoy my ranking. I hope it wasn't too long, but I just had to get my thoughts off, you know what I mean? Had to let y'all know how I feel, type B. But yeah, hope y'all have an incredible day, and be on the lookout for my next video, which is going to be more highlights on the story. After I'm done uploading all the highlights, I will be uploading endgame content like builds and killing every single main boss and getting every legendary, stuff like that. I got a couple ideas in the tank, you know what I mean? If you see this, you like this, leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to see, if you like this, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Subscribe type shit. All the stuff that the famous YouTubers say, you know what I mean? But anyways, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.